Hello and welcome back to the podcast. It is Mark from Apprentice 121, and we are here again with another really interesting episode. Before we get into the meat and bones behind that, I want to introduce my guest, and that is Steve. How are you doing, Steve?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm really good, thanks. A bit nervous, slightly starstruck as well, but I'll get into that.
Okay, there's absolutely
No
no
problem.
need to be starstruck at me, that's for sure. That's for sure. But now I really appreciate you taking the time to come and have a conversation. And just to give some outline to those of you listening along, I've had some posts out on socials of late around training, and Steve had commented on one of those over on LinkedIn around a community that he's developing. We're going to come to that later on in the conversation, but I think it's best to start right at the beginning with these chats. So, do you want to explain, how you came into the electrical industry first and foremost, Steve?
Yeah, so basically, I retrained. Well, I booked to start retraining at the beginning of COVID. So I'd already planned to make the move before that, but then the dreaded COVID struck. So I thought it was never going to happen. But luckily, the course still carried on, and we was okay. So I decided on to retrain to become an electrician, and I did my best to do as much research as possible. Um, I'm still not sure if anyone can answer what that is, how to become an electrician. So you go on Facebook, there's some quite unpolite people. So you're kind of a bit nervous to post on socials, especially when the more you dig into it, you sort of look down upon to become an adult trainer. And I get why that is because of some of the history of the 6 week course, but I didn't do the 6 week course. I did the full level 2, level 3. Went on to get my NVQ and gold card eventually. So the main reason I decided to come into the electrical industry was it was as daft as it sounds, but I wanted to do work on my own property. We was doing up our house and we had some building work done, and I had a bit of a background in electrics on sort of 12 volt, 48 volt equipment. So I had a basic understanding of that side of the electrics, motors and stuff. But I wanted to sort of expand and go into the domestic market.
Yeah, I mean, that's a normal route, I think, for people coming into industry as adults. It can be that you've always had that interest and inkling of wanting to do it, but never having the opportunity because life happens, doesn't it? Or you start doing a redevelopment of home and you're wanting to get a bit more into that side of things because you've got an interest and want to do it. And there absolutely has to be a route for people to enter as retrainees. You don't know when you leave school what you want to do. You end up doing all sorts of silly things along the way. I did at the start of my career that end up being no interest whatsoever to you. It's just the course of nature, isn't it? Sometimes when you're a young person venturing out into the grown-up world of trying to get it right, it's near on impossible. I guess your experience through COVID kind of resonates with the community I built up called the Apprentice 121 podcast we've got here now, of trying to support those people who do want to make that journey, and also those who are trying to get on apprenticeships. It's really, really difficult. So how did you find that process with your training provider? Was it a good experience? The things that could have been done better, and
Um,
also the bit around employment, do your portfolio and stuff as well? Because you mentioned your MVQ and gold cards, you've successfully got through that. How did you navigate that bit as well?
yeah, so I did my training with one of the big providers, and to be honest, I don't know if it's slightly different because I did it during COVID. So class sizes, I think there was 8 of us, and I think they were usually probably would have been 30. It was an 8 month course in total. I found it really good. It is intense. It is a lot to take on in a short period of time, which it is. 8 months is a short period compared to doing 3 years, I suppose. But no, I thought they did really well, especially during the COVID times. I would say the biggest thing is you ring up and you're talking to a salesperson. You don't get to speak to an electrician or a tutor. You're talking to a salesperson. Um, so I think a bit sales misguided, but I was kind of sort of told I've got the feeling I'd come out fully qualified electrician, put my tool bag on my back and off I go. Not that that was said as such, but that's kind of the impression you come away with after you've hung up the phone. I think it's changed a bit now from what I can gather. But yeah, I think there's quite a lot of confusion around CPS schemes with the NIC and NAPIT. So yeah, so we're sort of halfway through the course. I know that it wasn't just me. There's a few of us thinking, I don't think we're actually going to come out as an electrician after this course. And as it goes on, you kind of realise how much more work's involved.
Yeah, I mean, that's not an unfamiliar story. I think and now most training providers are supposed to make clear as you sign up onto those courses that you do need to do your MVQ and your AM2, and the difficulties around that, getting the work experience to do your MVQ are not straightforward. And that's something that does really need explaining right at the start. And as you've just said, I think they are a lot better with that now than they maybe were when you were going through that process. And it's one of those hurdles, isn't it? We need that gatekeeping and entry point of what it takes to be an electrician. As much as you said at the start of this podcast, we're still not fully sure where that gate sits, and there's some movement around that at the minute. Actually, I don't know if this will be out before, but there's the eFix Live tonight, which is all about qualifications, moving about determining what is an actual electrician in terms of getting access to go and do a solar PV course or a testing inspection course and all things like that. So there is some stuff going on. It's never a moving target, it seems. It doesn't make it easy. And I guess it's great that you made it through. I went out to meet a training provider this week, actually, who runs some of the adult retrainee options, which are a bit more condensed in an overall time frame, like you did with 8 months. But it is people who've paid to be there. They really want it. They're investing that time in themselves. And it's not so much like school leavers need a bit of growing up, I think, as well as they leave school. When you're 16 to 18, you don't have any of that. You've got the life skills. You know you want to be there. You want to be doing it. So you switched on to that learning program. So I think you definitely can do it a bit quicker in those circumstances. As long as you're getting the support from the training provider, it can absolutely be made to work. And this particular provider was doing it brilliantly. I met some of the learners in their centre, so it shows what can be done. As do you. You've made it through this side as well, Steve. So with just before we move on to where you are now, this getting your portfolio done, did you find that straightforward? Did you have people who you could go and do some work experience with, or was it examples of stuff you'd done on your own home? How did you navigate that little segment?
So the plan was to, you think, oh, I'll ring up with all the electricians in the area and I'll choose which one I'll go and work for. But at the time, obviously it was COVID, but I don't think it's changed much. That people, it's not that they're not kind or friendly enough, it's just that they haven't got the time or the resources to offer. So I offered to work for free and I couldn't even get an offer of that. So eventually I ended up doing labouring for a builder. So I started off digging trenches and carrying bricks, and I got my green card, my CSCS card, and then I got talking to an electrician on site. And then, so this was whilst I was doing my diploma, my level 2 and level 3, because I just couldn't get the experience of an electrician. No. So I was doing that, and then, which was brilliant because I got to learn about, as daft as it sounds, lifting a floorboard, quite daunting for the first time.
100% it is.
And then you start learning a wall's not just a wall. You've got dry lining, you've got dot and dab, and all these things you just sort of didn't really, you won't learn that at the centre in your diploma, that's for sure. So all that sort of coming clearer to me working with the builder. So once I'd done my diploma after 8 months, I then started doing minor works for myself. So I was still doing a bit of labouring. And I went on one of the, I'm not going to name them, but the lead generation sites.
Okay, yeah.
So I signed up for 12 months, but I probably lasted about 3. So I started doing some minor works myself. And so for my MVQ, I kind of built it up doing some of the minor works I did for the cabling, different types like that. And then with the builder, I managed to get some of that conduits and stuff and trunking, doing work with them. So it was quite difficult. And then some of the more commercial stuff I just had to do sort of as and when. That was probably the trickiest bit because I wasn't doing much commercial work. So we did a bit on a site, but yeah, it was tricky.
It is really difficult, and not just for people like yourself either. For lots of apprentices who are out in full-time employment, they kind of get pigeonholed in the industry they work, and it could be that they're in a commercial or industrial environment and don't get access to the domestic side and vice versa. So trying to navigate all elements of that is really, really hard. And you're dead right as well with experience of how buildings come to pieces. Nobody really teaches that in college, and we've just gone through that in our business, venturing into the world of solar 3 or 4 years ago, understanding how roofs are supposed to be taken apart and put back together again. It's a whole learning journey that You know, it's never ending, I would say, in construction, whatever sector you're in. Different wall types of use said, how you get around a home. That's often one of the most difficult things I find being an electrician. You know, we can do complicated cable calculations and work in big factories and all the rest of it. It's challenging work. But being able to take somebody's home apart and put it back together again in a satisfactory way is sometimes the hardest part of the job, whilst keeping them on side during the effort to do
Yeah,
that. I don't know what you think about that now you are out in industry working in homes around the country.
yeah, it is tricky, especially when you start doing EVs and things like that. That's some of the runs you've got to do, especially when the electrics come to the middle of the house and things like that. Um, but and you can plan the best you can. You can look at it and think, I'll do it this way, I'll run it under there. But as soon as you lift that carpet and pull a board up, there's all sorts of obstacles that are under there and can
Yeah,
really
it's
slip you
it's
up.
when you pull the carpet up and you find they've got some laminate floor under the carpet, and then there's some carpet under the laminate floor, and then you've got the underlay before you even get to the floorboards. Can be a right challenge and a half. So where you are now with your business then, Steve? You're out of your time, obviously qualified. You've got your own installation company now. Is it just you? Have you got other people in there? How's that looking?
No, so I've took on an apprentice. He's joined.
Wicked,
He's on
fantastic.
board. Yeah, he's in his final year now. So I took him on. Well, he started off at college, and then he decided he wanted apprenticeship. So he did his level 2 at college. So he'd already done a tiny bit of growing up, should I say, at college, and now he's just finishing off his level 3, which has gone really well. It's tricky. Don't get me wrong, it is tricky, but yeah, I'm glad I did it. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's fundamentally what needs to happen more often is people like us bringing people through, giving them an opportunity, and it's really difficult. We've had the budget again today. I don't fully know how that looks, to be honest, sat here right now, but the
yeah,
pressures get more difficult for us as business owners, and it doesn't always lean on employing young people and trainees. But yet, the skills crisis would tell us we need more of that. We need more of those qualified people. The opportunities for us all are massive once we are in the
yeah,
industry. There's just that disconnect, I think, at the minute, which is what my musings have been about of late. It's trying to encourage prospects for people to get into this sector, to get employment, and have some government support behind that, and hopefully we get it. And I think from the sounds of it, Steve, you've seen similar things and you're wanting to do similar stuff yourself because you've also got a community that's called the Electrician Growth Accelerator. Is that right?
yeah. So it's something I've just started up, and it's basically aimed mainly at adult learners that sort of want to get into the industry. If they're just thinking about coming into the industry, you can come along. It's a safe place to ask questions because, as I mentioned earlier, if you go on Facebook, um, you'll get a lot of abuse for one. There is some decent people out there, don't get me wrong, but it can be quite disheartening asking the most basic questions. Where if someone wants to join the community and say, "How do you lift a carpet up?" they're not going to get bombarded with ridicule.
Mm.
And I'm actually going to have a section of how-to videos. So obviously, when I retrained, when I started my journey 5 years ago, I spent a lot of time on YouTube. So I was watching the likes of you, Mark, and all the big names, Nick Bundy, and uh, Thomas Nagy, and Jordan Artisan, and so yeah, I spent hours watching videos. So I'm kind of I basically want to put everything I've learned into a community, and I'm also going to have electricians in there that can also be there to answer questions that I can't. But I get asked so often about apprenticeships and adult learners coming to me. It's just like I do my best to answer their questions, but I can't really give them the time. Where this community will hopefully give them somewhere to come, ask the questions, watch any videos that they might find useful, and if they want me to do a video whilst I'm out and about, then I'll do one. And if they're local to me, they're more than welcome to join me for a day, and I'll give them a bit of experience.
Yeah, I mean, things like that are much needed. I think we can do a lot as people out in industry through social media now, just to try and share what we know amongst ourselves. And you've walked the walk of that journey, Steve. So your input on that is as valuable as any massive YouTuber that's out there now. Even
Yeah,
Mr. Farley himself, you doing that is a really good thing, and hopefully it goes the way you want it to. And the video resource as well. You know, you don't know what you don't know, and if
right.
somebody's sharing those tips and tricks to learn those things that you're not going to get in a college environment because they're not teaching or expected to deliver it. You know, they're tied up enough as it is trying to get the theory side in and all the practical stuff around normal electrical cabling and whatnot. But those things do get missed off. And if you don't have access to an employer consistently where you're getting that, you know, it's one of those things that can really be left aside until you are venturing out, as you did, doing your minor works jobs through a lead gen site, when you're learning all of that in someone's home. And that is that's not really the way it should be, is it? There's
Right.
things we can do using technology and amongst ourselves as a community to try and help people on those routes. So full credit to you. And I'll share links over to what you're doing on my socials and through the course of this video as well, if it's useful to you and people
Yeah,
listening
appreciate
along.
it. Yeah.
I think that's what it's all about. So with this community you've got, then I guess it sounds like the fundamental aim is to help people missing bits of education, not education, but experience, if you like, that they've had, and also
Yes.
trying to link them up a little bit. Are you doing bits of that as well?
Yeah. So I'm hoping it will grow that big that we'll have one in, like, an electrician from every region that can sort of help with this and help people get experience, because it really was the biggest stumbling block for me and for everyone I speak to. It's just they literally think you're going to go on your course and you're employable as soon as you leave. Where I think, obviously, watching my videos or anyone's videos, you doesn't mean you're good at doing it or you've got the experience. But if you've got something in your mind of how to do it, at least you can talk about it with someone, and you're not a complete newbie to it as such. Yeah, so I really wish that that something had been that out there for me, or even on the end of the phone if I could ring someone. But it is tricky. So hopefully I can put all the information that I've learned in one place, and I'll have other electricians on board that are willing to help people in their areas as well. So
Yeah, it's that safe space as well is such a good point, and I see that in my communities with apprentices and young people, especially when you're trying to encourage them to create profiles online to attract employers, or at least send employers examples of what they've done. So it could be an Instagram page where they've got some pictures of stuff they've done in college or stuff they've done out with their employer when they've had employment, to try and show that they are interested, they do have a level of understanding and somewhere to point people at, or a LinkedIn profile where you've got your work experience and things, and they just don't want to do it because of the fear of pushback they will get when they share something that's not quite right. And it could be unaware to them, they've been taught something in college which maybe isn't the way we see it, been done correctly out in industry, and they get all that coming back to them and it just puts them off. So I think having a space which is safe and controlled, but with people with the right knowledge in there as well to give good advice is really important. And yeah, maybe get confidence into people to come forward on social media. That's something I do try and do a lot of, because people don't like going on camera, they don't like talking on videos, and they don't like posting online. But the upsides behind all of that are ginormous, not just in terms of your own confidence and marketing your business, but in your knowledge and capability. I find that now, sitting here having a conversation with you, Steve, I'm learning something, I'm developing, it's good for me. And doing the podcast as I've done for the years I do them now, I've learned such a lot, and I'd like other people to have that experience as well.
yeah.
So yeah, having safe communities like yours is a really good thing, and full credit to you for trying to do it. Even if it doesn't go where you want it to, just for trying it. Massive respect for you on that.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I think the majority of people out there are good, but it just takes a few bad comments here and there. And it kind of, like I say, just puts people off from asking the questions. But everyone in there, wherever they are in the journey, got taught by someone. This is something I always say, is that even someone that came through an apprenticeship was taught by someone, and that's what I want to do. I just want to try and teach people. Technology's moved on. Yeah, like I said earlier, you're not going to learn everything from a video, but you're certainly going to get the basics and a bit of confidence to talk about it with someone when you're looking for a job, or even if you're trying to do some work yourself. And adult learners have paid a lot of money to retrain and progress their career. So they're in it for the right reasons. They're not just the majority anyway are in it to learn a trade and do it properly.
Yeah, I mean, I speak with a lot of adult retrainees who've been let down, where they've lost all their money. There's been some recent examples of option skills and such who went to the wayside while they were going through their training, and they've had to pay again. They want it that much that they've gone again to maybe even more money with a different provider. And these are people who desperately want to come into our industry, and sometimes it can be really disheartening for them on that journey as well. There is a lot who just kind of drop out through that process and end up spending all that money trying, but because they can't get the work experience or because the training's not been delivered in the way they would have hoped, they don't end up making it. And for them to see your success, that you have done that, I think is quite encouraging for people. So in where you are now in your business, Steve, having gone through that process in a difficult time through COVID, having spent all the money that you did and invested all the time and energy you have, are you glad you've done it? You know, 100%. You're happy where you are now.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, that's often the thing we want to hear, isn't it? The end result to that. You know, we all talk about the training journey, but what is the cumulative result? And if you're there now and you're happy in what you're doing, you're an effective part of this industry, doing good work that you enjoy, that's got to be a success story. And I think we need to get more of those out there like yours. You know, you've got your business now with your apprentice, working out. Is it domestic stuff you're mainly doing?
Yeah, just domestic, yeah.
Not just domestic, my friend. Domestic work is equivalent to any others. So full credit to you. You know, you've been on that journey. You've walked the walk, and now you're out there doing it in a thriving small business that who knows where that'll take you in time alongside your apprentice as you progress your business journey. And I think that's an important message for the adult retrainees to hear, because there's lots out there who I network with really becoming quite disheartened with it. So go off and get in touch with Steve and hit him up in his community and take that great advice from him directly.
Just don't quit, stick with it. If you need any help, whatever it is, just get in touch on the community and we'll see what we can do to sort it out, because I haven't got all the answers, but it can be quite lonely trying to retrain and run your own business, or you know, it is quite a stressful environment. So just reach out and we'll happily talk and try and get you through the course.
100% it is. So with the day job where you are now, then Steve, what's your route to getting customers in your business? Are you using the internet? Is it word of mouth? You know, how have you managed to establish yourself? Because there are others on similar journeys to you who will be keen to know.
So like I said earlier, I started off doing subcontracting. I started with a builder. After that, I did a bit of subcontracting with an electrical firm where I got some of my portfolio for my MVQ. And then the best stuff's Google. Just get on Google, do a Google My Business page. Start small, print some leaflets. You can even print them out at home, go delivering leaflets, parish magazines. It all adds up. I run a leafleting campaign now, so I don't deliver them myself. I deliver 5,000 leaflets every couple of months. I'm in magazines. I'd probably stay away from lead generation if I was you, unless there's one out there that you're not tied into. But stay away from those. Put all that money and effort into your own marketing.
That's great advice, and it's something that is often missed, I think, in the world of socials and lead generation and stuff. We think we have to jump just to that, and often what gets forgotten is the local magazines, your parish magazines, your leafleting, and those hard yards are still as viable today as they were when I first started in business 20 odd years ago. They still work, and you can still get results from them as much as you can through having a profile on the internet. One of the things I would say for any sort of small micro business owner is having that presence on social media. And for all the reasons me and Steve have just discussed, that can be quite daunting through some of the negative feedback you might get. But if you're not there, if you're not doing that, you will not be seen. That is the one definitive answer to that. So just having an Instagram page to begin with, or a Facebook profile and page, can be really effective. And if you've got kind of the want and creativity, doing videos on TikTok and YouTube and things can really help you. Certainly even with your website ranking. So if you've got a landing page for your company that you want to divert people towards or direct people towards, even having unlisted YouTube videos on your website really help it rank a lot higher. So you don't need to be an influencer or a super social media person. It's just about being there. It can make such a difference in attracting customers towards you. So be active on the internet of things, but also do like Steve's suggesting there and put the hard yards in. Sometimes walking down the street and posting the leaflets to begin with. I'm sure you've probably done that, Steve. I know I have in the past.
I have, yeah. That's how I started. I delivered them myself, and you'll be amazed at how many people, like, as you post it, catching. Oh, can you come and have a look? And you start building up that relationship. It's crazy, really, when you when you first start. And then obviously the best is word of mouth, but and it's almost guaranteed work because it's very rare that you lose a job after you've quoted it after it's a referral. And so it's just really making that start. Just get yourself out there, like you say. Get a Facebook page, get Instagram, get on Google, and then just go out with your leaflets and get in the magazines.
Yeah, I mean, as you've just gone through from a standing start, it's hard with that word of mouth thing. That is a kind of snowball that you keep pushing at for years and years and years. And we see that in my business now. We established 2005, I think it was, and we have so many customers who were referred to us from prior customers, and one's coming back. That it's a great place to be now. But when you're first starting out, it sometimes feel like you can't get that benefit. Can feel like it's never going to come, but it does. You've just got to keep chipping away at it, and before you know it, someone's making a recommendation to their brother, their aunt, their uncle, a work colleague, whoever, and your phone starts ringing, your email inbox starts filling up just from those things.
Yeah.
Customer service, getting good reviews, making sure you keep people happy is just as important as finding new customers, because that can lead to something else down the road as well. And those are the kind of things you don't get taught on any of these courses, are they, Steve? So this is part of my campaigning back to the industry of things a little bit, is trying to get them to include business elements within the structure of our training, because we qualify as electricians, but we generally end up running small businesses in large parts, and we don't get any training on that, do we?
No, that's true. Yeah, there's nothing at all about that. But that is actually going to be a part of my my community as well. I have got a sort of a business section on it as well, but I'm still working on that and building that up. But that's going to discuss about leaflets, Google reviews, and that kind of thing, and just the basics really. But when you're setting out, you just want to keep it simple. Answer your phone, because people just want to know. So if they ring you, almost if they leave a message, you've almost lost them. You've just got to pick up the phone and speak to them, because they're just going to go on to the next number out of a magazine until you've got that reputation.
That is exactly it. If you've gone to the trouble of marketing in a way that's got the phone ringing, it's really important that you actually answer it, or have someone else who can answer it for you if you're tied up out on site. There's virtual assistants that you can make use of. There's even sort of AI tools as well. I'm not fully sold on those at the minute. There's ways you can get that. You've got your hook out there and your debate's worked. Make sure you're on the receiving end of it after that effort. 100%. So is there a place that people should go to try and find you that's better than others? Where we're going to find you online, Steve? Is it LinkedIn, Instagram? Where should we head?
So I've got a YouTube channel that's reasonably new. If you look at multi-electrical services, I'm on there. And then for my community, it's on the school app. I don't think a lot of people know about it. It's quite a growing trend at the moment. But yeah, if you go onto the school app, SKOOL, look for Electrician Growth Accelerator, I'll be on there.
Okay, so that's an app you download from the Apple or Android app stores, not a website as such.
No, you can download it on the App Store.
Awesome. So I'll drop a link in the description to go off and find that. And if you want to contact Steve, then please do head over there and show him some support. I think it's important that we get behind each other when we are trying to do these sorts of things, because ultimately it's all helpful to others. Is there anything else you wanna ask or cover while you're here, Steve?
No, I think we've covered plenty there, really. Just I can't emphasize it enough. Just don't get disheartened, don't give up, because it will be worth it in the end. And I know with training providers, you can have the best training provider. It's sometimes about the tutor as well. I mean, nearly every one of my tutors was brilliant. There was one bad one that got found out pretty soon and was gone pretty quick. And just speak up. If you're not happy with your training, speak to the training provider. If you're not happy with tutor, speak to them. And then if you want any advice from us, come to my community, and we'll discuss it and give you some ideas on what to say and how to deal with things like that. Because it is daunting, because people are thinking, if I kick up a fuss, I'm going to fail my exams. It sounds stupid as an adult, but there is this mentality of just put up and shut up, isn't there? Especially with with things like this. So yeah, speak out.
nothing stupid about that. I go into the regs courses every 4 or 5 years, however often we do them, with fear of upsetting the person at the front of the classroom. You don't want to kick a stink, but you are entirely correct. You know, if
Yeah,
you're having a bad experience, it's so important that you speak up. And there are processes within all training organizations. They have to have this where you can have a route to make a complaint, and it will be looked at independent to the actual person in the classroom and even the centre owner, actually, where you
yeah,
can have redress to any problems you've got. So do speak up, don't sit quietly on them.
excellent.
Yeah, and thanks again, Steve, for coming to have a chat with me. I appreciate that. It's a busy time for us all heading
Yeah,
towards the end of the year, and I really do value you coming to talk to me. And we'll get this out onto YouTube and the podcast channels really, really quickly following the closing of this call, and direct people over towards you and your community. Thank you very much. And
awesome.
anyway,
Thanks for having me.
pleasure. Anyone who's got any questions around the conversation we've had here, as always, please do drop them in below. I'll do my best to answer those. And otherwise, we'll see you on the next one.